The dust of the path knew Amika's feet. It knew the slap of his worn slippers, thin as old leaves. He walked this path every day, from the small hut where hunger lived to the forest where he gathered wood. The sun was a hard eye in the sky, watching him. His shoulders were small, but they carried big bundles of firewood. He would take the wood to the market, and maybe, just maybe, he would earn enough for a small bowl of gari. Some days the hunger was a loud noise in his belly. It made the world seem slow and heavy. Amika's life was a circle of dust, sweat, and the gnawing emptiness that came with poverty. He saw other children laugh, but his own laughter was a forgotten thing. But the night was different. The night was his secret kingdom. When sleep finally came, it washed away the dust and the hunger. In this soft, dark world, she appeared. A girl, always dressed in a simple white gown that seemed to glow. She never spoke a word. Her silence was not empty. It was full of peace. She would simply stand there, under a sky filled with more stars than he had ever seen, and her presence was enough. It was a cool drink of water for his thirsty spirit. The dreams were a promise, a whisper that told him there was more to life than the heavy weight of firewood and the constant ache in his stomach. He held on to these nightly visions like they were his only true possessions. Each morning, the dream would fade like mist, leaving behind a strange warmth in his chest. The memory of her calm face gave him strength. It made the sun feel a little less harsh, the firewood a little less heavy. He would walk to the forest, his mind replaying the silent encounter. Who was she? Was she an ancestor, a spirit, or just a trick of his hungry mind? It did not matter. What mattered was the feeling she left behind. A quiet hope that bloomed in the barren soil of his reality. This hope was a fragile thing, but it was enough to make him lift his head and face another long, hard day of survival. The dreams grew stronger with each passing night, becoming more vivid and real. It felt less like he was sleeping and more like he was visiting another place, a place made just for him and the silent girl. He began to see details he hadn't noticed before, a small silver bracelet on her wrist, the way her hair moved in a breeze that he could almost feel on his own skin. The peace she brought was so profound that it started to seep into his waking hours. He would find himself smiling for no reason, a small secret smile. The other villagers saw a poor boy selling firewood, but inside, Amika was carrying a universe of silent, starlit dreams. The mystery of the girl in white deepened, weaving itself into the fabric of Amika's soul. She was no longer just a fleeting image in the landscape of his sleep. She was a constant, silent companion. Her presence was a gentle river flowing through the harsh desert of his days. In his dreams, she would sometimes point to the moon, a perfect silver coin in the dark ink of the sky, as if sharing a secret that needed no words. Amika felt a connection to her that was deeper than any bond he had in his waking life. It was a communion of spirits, a silent understanding that transcended the need for language or explanation. He began to feel that she was not just a figment of his imagination but someone real, somewhere. This growing conviction gave him a new kind of courage. The taunts of the other children at the market who called him Dreamer Boy lost their sting. Their words were like stones thrown into a deep well. They made a small splash, and then disappeared into the quiet depths of his inner world. He knew something they did not. He knew of a peace that could not be bought or sold. The dream girl's serenity was his shield. He would carry bundles of wood that seemed impossibly large, his muscles straining, but his spirit felt light. He was walking through two worlds at once, the world of struggle and the world of silent, shared peace. He started to look for her in the faces of the people he met. At the bustling market, amidst the loud calls of sellers and the haggling of customers, his eyes would scan the crowds. He searched for a face that held the same tranquility, a gaze that mirrored the calm he saw every night. Of course, he never found her. How could he? She belonged to the night, to the realm of sleep and stars. Yet, the search itself changed him. It made him more observant, more attuned to the world around him. He noticed the kindness in an old woman's eyes, the weariness in a fellow worker's posture. He was searching for one person, but in doing so, he began to see everyone. One night, the dream was different. The girl in white was there as always, but this time she seemed to be waiting for him with a sense of anticipation. She looked directly at him, and for the first time, he felt she was not just a passive image, but an active presence, aware of him as much as he was of her. A strange energy passed between them, a silent message that felt like a promise of something to come. When he woke up, the feeling was so strong, so real, that he knew something was about to change. The line between his dream world and his waking world was becoming impossibly thin, ready to dissolve completely. That day, the sun seemed to burn with a special intensity. Emeka carried his firewood to the big market in the neighboring village, a place he rarely visited because the journey was long. The air was thick with the smell of spices, roasted fish, and damp earth. Voices collided in a chaotic symphony of commerce and conversation. He set his bundle down near the yam sellers, his body aching from the long walk. He felt a strange pull, an invisible thread guiding his gaze through the sea of people. And then, he saw her. Standing by a stall selling colorful beads, bathed in a ray of sunlight, was the girl from his dreams. She was real. She wore a simple dress, not white, but the same light seemed to surround her. On her wrist was the small silver bracelet he had seen so many times in his sleep. Her face held the same impossible peace. For a moment, the world stopped. The noise of the market faded into a distant hum. All he could see was her. All he could feel was the thunder of his own heart. She turned her head slowly, as if she too was searching for something. Her eyes met his, and in that instant, a shock of recognition passed between them. It was not the look of a stranger seeing another stranger. It was the look of two people who had known each other for a lifetime, in a world hidden from the sun. He took a hesitant step forward, then another. She did the same. They met in the middle of the crowded path, oblivious to the people pushing past them. "I know you," Emeka whispered, the words feeling strange and new on his tongue. Her eyes widened, a flicker of disbelief followed by a wave of understanding. "And I know you," she replied, her voice as soft as he had imagined. "From my dreams. You are the boy who carries the wood." Emeka could only nod, his throat tight with emotion. He had imagined this moment, but the reality of it was overwhelming. She was not a spirit, she was real, made of flesh and blood, and she had been dreaming of him too. Her name was Amara. She told him how every night she would dream of a boy with kind, tired eyes, his shoulders burdened but his spirit strong. In her dreams she wanted to help him, to offer him a place of rest, and so she would stand with him in a field of quiet stars, hoping her peace would reach him. They stood there in the noisy market, sharing the impossible secret that had connected their two separate lives. The world around them was one of poverty and struggle, but in that moment, they had discovered a magic that was theirs alone. They had found each other across the bridge of dreams. That first meeting at the market was the beginning of everything. Emeka and Amara started spending whatever time they could together. He would finish his work selling firewood and walk the long road to her village, just to sit with her by the riverbank as the sun went down. They didn't need many words. They had already communicated in the silent language of dreams for so long. They discovered that their hopes for the future were reflections of each other. He dreamed of building a sturdy house, a place where hunger was not a constant guest. She dreamed of creating a garden, a place of beauty and nourishment where she could grow enough food so no one would ever go hungry. Their bond grew stronger with every shared story and every quiet moment. Amara's family was poor like his, but they had a small piece of land. Together, she and Emeka would talk about what they could grow there. He had the strength and determination forged from years of hardship, and she had the gentle wisdom and a deep connection to the earth. Their individual dreams began to merge into one shared vision, a life of simple dignity, built with their own hands, a life where peace was not just found in sleep but could be lived in the waking world. They were two halves of a single hope, finally brought together. But life, with its hard realities, pulled them apart. Amara's family had to move far away to the city to find work. and for several long years Emika was alone again. Yet this time, the loneliness was different. It was not empty. It was filled with the memory of Amara and the promise of their shared future. He worked harder than ever, saving every coin, his dream no longer a vague hope but a concrete goal. He bought a small piece of land, the very one they had talked about, and began to build a small, sturdy house, brick by brick, his hands shaping their future into reality. Years later, on a cool evening, just as the first stars began to appear, she returned. Amara stood at the edge of the property, older now, but with the same peaceful light in her eyes. She saw the house, strong and welcoming. She saw the plot of land, cleared and ready for planting. Emeka walked towards her, his heart full. They had been separated by distance, but never by spirit. Their dreams had kept them connected. Now, standing together in front of the home he had built for them, they were finally ready to begin their new life. The boy who sold firewood, and the girl from his dreams, had turned their shared vision into a beautiful, breathing reality.